Another episode of Real Dad Movement Podcast. This is your host, Al. In today's episode, we're talking about zooming out to zoom in. What do you mean, Al? I'm not a camera. That's right, mate. I know. Don't worry. What I'm talking about is your ability to build the capacity of seeing the bigger picture and the smaller picture. What does that do, Al? How does that help me? Good questions. Don't forget, with quality questions comes the answers. And also don't forget that I'm giving away a nutrition course for free. Energy is everything. If there's anything that I've learned from baby number 3, the little man Roman, who is just not sleeping at all, it's that your energy is number one. It's so important. And if you can't get it from sleep, you've got to find a way to nourish yourself as much as possible. So if you want or need that, alex@realdadmovement.com.au, hit me up with an email. I'll send it out to you right away. It's a phenomenal resource. It's got the audio book, the ebook, as well as coaching videos. But look, getting on the point of, really building the capacity of zooming out, zoom in, and how it helps you is helping you, one, stay present with what you are currently facing. What's right in front of me, Al? What is it that I'm living? What is it that I'm experiencing? What is it I'm going through with my family, with myself, with my work? Remember the 3 circles of significance. Every human being desires 2 things. Well, one thing really, certainty, which comes about through control, and significance. And with that being said, there are different moving parts in each one that makes it hard for you to sometimes be present in the now. And it makes it hard to sometimes zoom out and see the bigger picture, which means we get left drifting. And we're just drifting in this no man's land, this void, this chasm where we don't know how we got down there. We don't know how to get back up and get out. But all the while we're spending time there, so it becomes familiar. It becomes its own level of comfort. It's really funny when you hear the saying, get comfortable being uncomfortable. I don't know if comfort's the exact word I'd use, but I think it's exploring the opportunities that come about when you position yourself in an unfamiliar way. For Al to become who he is right here and now today, as a man, as a father of kids, as an unbelievable empire that we're building with RDM, mate, there is no way I would have been able to do this 3 years ago, 2 years ago, maybe. What's I've built towards 5 years ago, definitely not. 10 years ago, absolutely not. It comes about from putting yourself in positions that are going to help you grow. Now, here's the thing. Talking shit, drama, gossip, bitching, not even with other people, with yourself, both, all of the above, that's only ever presented when you're not seeking growth, which when you put the shoe on the other foot, when you're constantly seeking a state of growth and change, and yes, challenge, but the right challenge to gift you a higher level of control with the variables life throws at you, guess what? You don't have time for any bullshit, which also means, guess what? You don't have even time to spend down in the pit. Does that mean that it's always smooth sailing? Absolutely not. 2020 has been a turbulent year, to say the least, for all of us, myself included. What it's done, funnily enough, though, through a great foundation of 2019 and 2018 and so on, is embedded the roots of RDM in an even better way that I had actually not really seen or thought possible, from which 2021 and beyond is going to become even more magnificent because of the foundation we have in place to now build the big structure that is this incredible message and movement for dads. How does that happen? It happens by seeking growth. Why do we need to seek growth, Al? Well, you don't have to. You don't have to do anything. Life is a series of choices, and you can take ownership over those choices, or you don't have to as well. But even if you do take ownership over those choices, are you truly going to be content and happy, or are you going to shift the narrative, shift your way of seeing it to justify the narrative that you fed yourself of the bullshit that it just is what it is, just was the way it was back then, Al, and it's just the life of a dad, and it's what happens, and oh mate, I've got dealt an unlucky hand, and all the different things come out. When I'm not disputing them, I'm just saying when it comes down to it, your actions ultimately define the reality that you'll have. Now, it's a really interesting point that I had in a conversation with my wife the other day. I was talking, and we're talking about moments, things that people think define them. And I said, as I do at times, just off the cuff, which I enjoy. It doesn't make me some amazing wizard, but I just enjoy really exploring the thoughts we can have with some good statements and questions. And I said, it's not a moment that defines the person in their life, but it's the person who defines the moments. And I want you to just sit with that for a second. It's not the moments that define who the person is in life. It's the person who defines those moments in life. There's always going to be something where it'll be trauma. Unlucky, apparently. Life happens, doesn't it? We know that. Amazing, glorious, triumphant, failures, trial and error. Man, life is messy. You don't need me sitting here telling you that. We've all got lists. And if you had a smooth run, well, guess what? You probably haven't fucking pushed hard enough, and you've probably got some growing and some digging of your own to explore who you can become, because that's for sure. Sooner or later, it will catch up to you. There will be a tough moment. If you're not made out of the steel that you can make yourself out of by fortifying who you are physically and mentally, you will crumble. So when we're looking at this, and I'm talking about voids and chasms and zooming in and zooming out, what I'm talking about is your, how can we put it, your perceptual awareness to see things with such a big scope on the scale of your timeline, of your life, to understand the value of where I am now and where it's taking me, where I want to go and what I can do about it now. Where am I going now based off what I want to achieve? Is what I'm doing right now going to move me towards where I want to go? And it's that whole point A to B. That doesn't mean you just skip. It doesn't mean you jump up a whole flight of stairs. You go one step at a time. But when we look at it, too often people are in a middle ground. We're actually living out of a fantasy of the future or pain or pleasure in the past. And they're not even present with themselves, with their families, with their kids, with their work. But then they don't actually have a true north. I don't know, Al. I don't know what my goals are. Like, you might ask me, and I have these conversations. I'm not exactly sure. Like, yes, I want to lose X, Y, and Z in weight and gain X, Y, and Z in energy. And everyone will have their own little description of what they believe. But when we're looking at the nuts and bolts of it all, when we go through our FORCE method, which in RDM stands for feelings, outcomes, roadblocks, commitments, and evolution, this is the step. Like, what are the feelings you want to have in your life? Cool. We don't just live in fantasy land where we hold pinkies and sing kumbaya. What are the outcomes that must be true? Okay. For you to have those feelings. Cool. All right. Well, there's going to be some roadblocks, seen or unseen. What are they? Let's explore them. Okay. We're clear on that. What are your commitments to overcoming them? What are you going to do about them? They're the ones that you see, the ones you don't quite see right now. And is this a goal worth chasing? Is this evolving me? Is this moving me forward? Otherwise, you're wasting time. You're pissing in the wind. What's the point? What is the point? Because there's going to be times when things in your life, mate, they will not make sense. Things that you're doing, mate, they will not make sense. Things that you want to achieve, drum roll, they will not make sense. And they almost certainly won't make sense to anyone outside of you, funnily enough. But if you know your true north, if you've got your compass out, if you know what's important for you, what's right for you, and not out of hatred or things that are lower level stuff, out of a love for greatness in moving your life forward, in providing for your family and being the best you can be, that will become your rod and staff when you are kneeling, crumbling, or feel like falling down. Because you know what? It's just too hard, Al. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be able to do it. I can't do it. This won't work. It's going to fail. I'm not smart enough. I'm not strong enough. I don't have the energy for that. There's too much pressure. There's too many things going on. And you start to weigh up all these cons without going, hey, if I just have one pro, all I need is one pro, one positive, one optimistic light to go, you know what? That's what will happen if and when I fucking stick to my plan A. The plan Bs don't matter. The plan Bs don't serve you. The plan Bs take away your focus from your plan A. This is what zooming in and zooming out is. There's an awareness, and look, trust me, I don't believe that I'm special or any of that sort of stuff. We're all born relatively the same, and made out of the same stuff. It's a skill set that I've developed, working and speaking with, and thousands of people and thousands of dads, looking at establishing that awareness, perceptual awareness. Okay, well, this is how I see it, and this is what will play out. And this is how I see it. This is how that will play out. Cool. Awesome. I can have that in theory, but what about action? What about relativity to my life right now? And this is where it's all said and done. Like, look, I don't really swear around my children, but I don't sugarcoat things either. They've heard me swear before. Is it something they've repeated or said? Well, no, because they don't really know what the word is as well. So when I look at that, what I build in is an awareness of going, okay, all right, Al, be this upstanding gentleman that never curses around the family. And look, it's not like I'm saying it in their face. It's just there's times and circumstances where, and it's very rare, where it'll slip out, or I'll be in the backyard, I'll be doing something, or they'll be right behind me and I didn't know they were. This is life. And this is my point. People will focus on a narrative that suits their agenda to go, hey, you shouldn't swear around kids. It's like, well, I don't. Like, it's just something that happens sometimes. I'm in my own company and I'm my own world and my own life as well, please. Thank you very much. When that happens, they form this narrative around their own agenda to form an elevated position of judging someone without looking inside their life and actually zooming out and going, okay, well, what will happen? All right, so Al might swear very infrequently, every now and then around the kids. Okay, cool. All right, well, let's reverse engineer that a little bit. Okay, Al doesn't do that at all at any time. Doesn't even tell his kids what alcohol is, not at all, because I don't drink alcohol, so they never know what that is. Okay, cool. So when my children grow up and I've fucking bubble wrapped them, and all of a sudden they're out there in the real world with all these different variables that I don't control in the external environments that have so many moving parts with social acceptance, as well as peer pressure, as well as children from other families who may have been exposed to that, as well as conforming, or as well as exploring, or as well as a rebellion rise against things that their parents didn't show them, but now they know. How do you think that's going to serve my children when they're around that sort of environment? They hear these words for the first time. They don't know what drugs or alcohol is. I'm not saying they need to go and shoot up just to experience what it is. What I'm talking about is ultimately having the ability to zoom in and out of your actions to go, okay, well, where will this take me? What's the course that's going to apply here, with the outcome in place of this being the result that my children have or know or feel? Okay, so I do that. I bubble wrap my children. All of a sudden they get out in the real world. How do you think they're going to go? Like, come on. Yeah, these are fascinating things. And maybe that was a poor example. Who knows? I'm not sure. But that was absolutely one example that I've just gone through recently where there's been a level of judgment cast because I dropped an F-bomb in a video when my child was in my arms. Like, it's a baby. Like, are you serious? It's a baby. And ultimately, the backlash of that is if I do not do that at all and I completely gloss over what's real in life and sugarcoat things, exponentially the damage that my children will face in the real world, not in school. School's still a playground. Don't worry about bullying and peer pressure. It can be tough. I've seen it in daycare and whatnot, but out in the real world, welcome to the jungle. I'm not saying that life has to be black and white either. But what I'm saying is when you build as a leader, as a man, as a father, when you build an intuition, an intuitive nature, an awareness, it's part of your instincts in a different way. Not a I'm going to chase away from a mountain lion or a jaguar is about to eat me caveman style instinct, but it's there. When you have that and you listen to that and it gives you feedback, and you then explore down the road, literally like a computer, a big grid. This is what will happen. This is what won't happen. This is where I'm at. This is what I need to do now. Both ways. What do I want to have in my life? This. Okay, what must be true for that to happen? Okay, awesome. I need to take this action. Beautiful. Okay, I'm doing this action right now. Okay, cool. Is that good? What will happen if you do that? Well, this will happen. What will happen if you don't do that? Well, this might happen. You start to get a bigger grasp on reality in the world. Now, again, I don't feel like I'm special, but it's something I can do very quickly, like straight away. So I can be faced with a set of perspectives, a set of different influences, and ultimately opinions, really, on how something can, will, or should happen, will or should not happen. And when I look at this, like a microprocessor that our brain is, I immediately figure out all of the variables and all the moving parts that directly move towards my children having the greatest life they can have, me enjoying my life and staying true to who I am in my life and my world and being the greatest person I can be, and everything around me in my inner circle, in my family, in myself, my family, my experiences, my life, hinging on doing what we want out of love and out of being true and genuine and real. Not putting up walls, not facades, not let's dress properly and wear a suit and never say fuck or bullshit. And then all of a sudden, welcome to the real world. They get exposed to things you never thought possible, including you. This is the thing, and that's fine. If you're a dad listening to this, you don't like swearing. Awesome, that's cool. I think I've maybe sworn a couple of times in this podcast. I do it when I'm passionate. But my point is, sugarcoating your children is sugarcoating yourself. You are building this fantasy that this is exactly how the world should be, and you're trying to control the uncontrollables. You're trying to control things, different elements, different facets really of what makes our life that you can't control, which means guess what you're taking your eye off? What you can control. And guess where you can harness that focus, that level of attention? On investing yourself, on growing and being a better leader for your family, and showing your children what's possible, and also showing yourself what's possible through the greatest example, which is taking action and learning from it and applying knowledge to it. Now, look, that was one very simple example when I'm talking about, like, say, the odd swear word in front of my children. That's a nothing. Like, that's negligible. That's a non-event for me in terms of the bigger picture of the smaller pictures that make up our life. And this is what I see from old school friends to current people to, not that my circle's that big anymore, really, it's quite tight knit, but to anyone, I see patterns, and I see a compounding effect, like investing in the stock market, of interest. If it's a good investment, right? It could be bad investments too, of interest compounding one way or the other. Someone has a very minute, specific character trait, and I can see that, and straight away I know when that person gets older, when that person has children, when that person has stress, when they have all these other different moving parts that put them under the pump, that will compound and manifest and become something unholy and unnatural for them, and it will not help them. I can see it immediately, straight away, bang. The reason why that happens is because there is not a continuous effort to seek growth and to challenge and change who you are and who you can become, which is much more exciting anyway, in all areas of your life. And this is the greatest thing for me when it comes to zooming out and zooming in on your life. Life is change. There are so many things that change in your life sporadically, systematically, in a rhythmical way, of a timeline, yearly, 5-yearly, decadely, change everywhere. Like, the one thing that will always be constant in life is change. Isn't that funny? The whole dichotomy of it all. The one thing that will always remain true and the same in this world is change. I'd rather take control more often than not over the change that I experience in my life than not take control and live in this delusional fantasy land that doesn't exist, that things can, will, and should be the same. So when the walls of my reality come falling down, I turn to shit. I want you to do this exercise with me. It's very powerful, very powerful. Think about a pattern, something you currently do, something that's part of your nature, part of your makeup. Okay, I hit the snooze button. All right, why do you hit the snooze button? It's bad behavior, Alan. I know I should get up. I need to go for that 6 a.m. walk to start the day and clear my head. Yes, that's right, you do. Okay, awesome. But I keep hitting the snooze button. Okay, but don't hit the snooze button. All right, how do I do that? Peel the layers back. Why do you want to go for a walk? You need to clear your head. Okay, why is your head not clear? Well, because I've got so many different stresses and blah, blah. Why are those stresses affecting you? Because I just haven't had any time to think. That's right. What's the current speed and pace of your world at the moment? Oh, it's frantic, Al. It's just crazy. Awesome. Okay, well, let's stay with it. Stay with me here, mate. Let's work through this. All right, so your life's pretty frantic, pretty crazy. Feels like yesterday you're getting married to the missus, and all of a sudden you got 2 or 3 or 4 kids, 7 kids. They're 6, 9, and 11, or they're 13, 15, and 17, or they're 21, 23, and they get their license. They're moving out soon. You'll be empty and alone again soon. And okay, regardless of the situation, there's stress, high frequency of your life at the moment, high cycle rate of day-to-day living, things you're taking in, things you're absorbing. All right, well, let's sit with that. What's going to keep happening if you keep allowing this to happen in your life? Oh, well, mate, I don't eat properly and I don't exercise like I should, and hit the snooze alarm, so I get a bit deflated. I'm not happy in myself. Obviously, my confidence isn't there and my self-esteem isn't quite there because I can't catch a trick out. I just can't win. It's hard, and I don't know what to do, mate. It becomes a bad habit and a pattern, and I feel like I need to sleep because I'm lethargic all the time. It's this vicious cycle. Okay, yep, I understand that. I get that. Have you been on a walk before? Yeah, of course I have. Okay, how do you feel? How do you feel when you go on your walk? Oh, mate, it's awesome, mate. And hear the birds, and you're either down at the beach, or you're walking along the water, or you're walking along a river or a creek, or you're out in the forest, or going on a bush trail, or you're just even walking the suburbs. Doesn't matter. Or you're walking in the city, and you've got your podcasts in, or your music in your earphones, and regardless of the setting or the environment, the more natural, the better. How do you feel? Oh, mate, it's good. It's just me. I find I can just rest. Like, nothing matters. It's just me. I'm just present. That's right. That's right. It's like meditation, isn't it? They commercialize meditation into wearing fucking G-strings and being in a 40-degree room and saying Om. You know, true yoga isn't about that. True yoga is phenomenal when you do it properly. And what it is in all its entirety is really being present with yourself and recognizing yourself and your body. That's all it is. It's a beautiful thing. So you feel calm and relaxed and good. Okay. If you take time out for yourself and you do that 3 days a week, how do you think it'll help? Oh, it'd be amazing, Al. What'll happen if you don't do it? Like you keep staying stressed. Well, my dad passed away when he was 62, Al, and he had a lot of issues and high blood pressure. And it's way too young for me, mate. I'm 47. It's not that far off, 15 years away, Al, Is it, I don't want that to be me. I'm like, yeah, okay, understand. So when you start to zoom out and see this big picture, okay, cool. It's not a priority for you right now when you zoomed in, but when you zoom out, your life's pretty fucked, mate. Like you're going to go down a bad way very, very quickly. I don't care how much you weigh, your family history, or what you've just shared with me, your circumstances. All of you listening or watching this right now, you all get it. You understand what I'm saying here. In your own right, in your own life, there is a cause and effect that will hit you big time if you don't zoom out and see the compounding nature and effects of your life and that one little action of just hitting the snooze button. Isn't it funny? Is it that moment that defines you, though? Or is it the person that defines the moments in which they're faced with what supposedly becomes a 50-50 when really it should be a 90-10? Yes, I'm doing this, man. It's a given. I know there may be a position every 2 weeks. I might hit the snooze button once. Beautiful. 7%. Unreal. Well done. 93.3. You're ahead. You're winning. I'm telling you, mate, this is the value. What'll happen if you walk 5 days a week? Oh, mate. Work will be amazing. I'll have time out for myself. I can handle stress with the kids a lot better. I know that I'll be able to make time for my wife instead of trying to do something and dull the pain with technology or scrolling through Facebook. I'm going to be able to spend some good quality time with her because I'll have better clarity. My headspace will be better. I know when I come home from work, I've actually got time to make some brekkie for myself. And oh, beautiful, mate. That sounds amazing. Why aren't you doing it? It's just hard out. Like it's just, yes, that's right. It's very hard. Like I need you to understand, mate, if you don't see the big picture between A and B, what you're stuck with is a version of you that more often than not, you're not happy with, means there's a set of patterns or a series of patterns that have pulled you into this state of sleepiness, unawareness of what the real effect will happen from what you're currently doing, cause and effect. So when we initiate action and have a level of accountability, and use the tool of zooming out, zooming in, you then have better clarity on what is important to you and why. So you do this, you walk 5 days a week, you have this time out, beautiful, well done. Okay, how does that look for you now? Oh, well, I know if I can do that for a month, Al, I know that I'm going to get better with my nutrition, which means I'm actually, going to have some time out for myself. You know what? I still want to get back into some training. I'd love to either do some training at home once or twice a week or even maybe join a gym, or it doesn't matter, mate. This is the snowball effect. Like seeing people, and it's not nothing to do with money, you're a millionaire, you're not, or seeing people who achieve greatness and wealth through health and all the other parts of life, and those who don't, it's 1%, man. But one of the greatest tools you can have in your tool belt is your own set of eyes, and the set of eyes that's constructed in a way that gives you the ability to zoom out so you can zoom in. All right, I'm right here. I'm in the now. I'm in the present. It's almost like I'm zoomed in now. Cool. Zoom in a little bit more. How are you right now in this present? What's your temperament? What's your nature? What's your feelings? What's your belief system? What are your emotions? What are your actions? What are you planning? Zoom in a little bit more. How does that define you as a man? Who are you? What's important to you in your life? What makes you who you are, that big fucking titan that can crush anything in front of him instead of a ticking time bomb waiting to fall apart? Zoom in even more. Why is that important for you? Why does it matter for you to turn the tides and change and turn your life around and get in front again? Or if you're already in front, keep charging. Don't look back. Don't fucking look back, mate. You'll slow down. Keep looking forward. And when you've got that zoom, that tenfold, 10 times zoom, you can then zoom it out. Beautiful. If I'm like this and this is what drives me, this is why it's important, where will that take my life? And what will that mean? Oh, mate, these are the possibilities, Al. That's right. Have a look at them. Don't focus on the shit. Don't focus on the negatives. Mate, the world's full of that. Don't you worry about that. Like if we look at the world and say 1% of people chase their dreams and really get it. I mean, even if we said 10%, we even said 1%, 8 billion. That's 80 million. 80 million. Like that's filling ANZ Stadium 1,000 times. Imagine that many people. That's a lot of people. So how many people do you think 8 billion is? That's a lot of people, man. That is a lot of people. Doesn't have to be you, though. I'm not saying they're down and out. I'm not saying they're in dire straits, and I don't judge them for it either. This is life. People do whatever they want. You do whatever you want listening to this or watching this. Like, it's your world, man. You know, I'm doing this for me as well. This is a reminder to me. Yes, I hopefully have a positive influence on you to see the power you can have in your life and how you can shift and get in front the right way, sustainable, the long game. Win the second half, win it. You can win. You can. This is your life is your fucking championship round, man. It is your championship round. Your life is your championship round. Don't ever forget that, and you can win that. Doesn't matter if you're behind in the second half. You can get back in front. That's the beauty of the game. There's still time. There's still time. It's possible. Looking at that and then understanding with a zoomed out picture of where your life can go, what's possible, literally what you can create. Like you're not here to consume, you're not here to survive or exist. You're here to fucking thrive, man. You're here to create. Consume, yes, consume some, consume this podcast, awesome. But what are you going to do to create with it? Like use it. Don't just consume things. Be a creator. And then you can zoom back in and go, fucking you ripper. We're on here. This is what I must do and why. And this is how. And I'm just going to start with one thing. Al, I'm going to set my alarm Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And my reward for getting up Monday at 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 4 a.m. is, you know what, Tuesday, I'm not going to set an alarm. I'm just going to sleep through. I got to sleep in. Beautiful, mate. That's amazing. Convince yourself however you need to. I've done it. I do it. I currently do it. I barter with myself a lot, but I always do it on the way that the bigger Al gets the better end of the slice, the better end of the deal. And the little Al, the little bullshit version that pops up, yeah, he gets a little bit, not as much as he wants, but not as much as he deserves, which means Big Al gets a slice, which means eventually Big Al gets the whole pie. This is how you win. Zoom in again. Find that driving purpose and the reason why it's helping you. Zoom right out. Okay, where's it going to take me? Beautiful. Zoom back in again. Awesome. How can we reinforce this and initiate the action to take that change to get in front and win? This is very valuable, mate. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've taken some great value out of this podcast. It might be a little bit different to some of the other ones I've done. I'm not sure. Like sometimes I talk feelings, facts, strategies, tactics, emotions, examples, areas of life. I'm not sure. Like it, and for me, it's not about a shotgun approach to find what works. They all work. There's always a gift. There could be one thing that you take out of this that becomes your gift, mate. Take it and fucking run with it and make it yours. Own it and run with it. Because there's always a gift. Don't ever forget that. And the greatest way you can have that is by having that perceptual awareness to see the bigger picture and to really recognize the small picture and why and how you can get those minute mini victories to just move forward. Get that win, get a win. And all of a sudden, all these little things that you downplay or you're taught poppy yourself with or self-sabotage by not recognizing it, which is really hard in the world. All these little things that you've gotten wins in, which is hard to do in the world that you don't recognize, you can. Hey, Al, it's 11 o'clock and I've already gotten 8 wins. Oh, yeah? How? Well, I set the alarm when I got up and I went for my walk and I made my breakfast and I was great around the family and I was at work on time and I also handled a business deal really, really well and I ate my lunch and I actually took 15 minutes out because I had more time than I thought and I listened to some more music or a podcast to realign for the afternoon and, you know, it's 11:30. It's like 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11:30, whatever time I said earlier. And here I am, mate. I've got 8 wins. Mate, that's fucking amazing. Make sure you reckon if you're gonna beat yourself up for the bad, fuck, mate, make sure you give yourself some raps for the good. Don't ever forget that. If you're gonna rap yourself for the bad, you better give yourself some pats on the back for the good because you owe it to yourself, and that's justice. That's fair. Hope you enjoy this podcast and got some good takeaways, some good lessons out of it, and things that can help you apply what is that you feel you need in a direct way to your life to move forward. Like I said, anything you need, you want that nutritional guide, it's yours. alex@realdademovement.com.au. Happy to help you out any way we can. And have an amazing day, night, weekday, weekend, whenever you listen to this. Got an amazing podcast coming up shortly with Pete. We call him Pop. Pop. The General. He's one of our support coaches, one of our RDM original dads. And yeah, very excited to have him on the show and get that out to you guys soon as well. Like I said, you ever need anything, let us know. Hope you enjoy this. Take care. And I'll see you on the next episode. Cheers.